So the so-called big tough guy is afraid to answer some basic questions now. You know, Tom Homan, who's got that tough guy out. I'm Tom Homan and I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. Better believe it. I'm coming for you. And look, he's doing despicable and horrible things to the migrant community. But now that he's been exposed and it appears that he's on video accepting $50,000 in cash in a kava bag. Kava's like a Mediterranean semi-fast food restaurant. It's like a Mediterranean Chipotle. It's pretty good food, by the way. Now he's saying, I'm basically done talking about that. And all I'm going to talk about is just the day-to-day, you know, I'm going to attack California for protecting migrants. But don't ask me any questions at all about the $50,000 in cash. You know, he's only been doing interviews on friendly media right now. Like he's no longer, and this may change soon, but he hasn't been going on like MSNBC or CNN or ABC, or which he used to go on all the time because he liked going on and saying the really nasty and mean and hateful things. Yeah, we're going after your community. We're going after you, going after you, going after you. Okay, well, we just want to know a very basic fact. Very basic fact. Were you handed $50,000 in cash in basically a brown paper bag? Okay, were you handed that? And is it your position that that's how you do business? Because if he doesn't address the cash component, but when he was asked about it, he's like, everything I do is perfectly legal. I ran a business. I'm now making only 18% of what my salary used to be. And so that's just how I do business. But he didn't address the central point, because I think that the American people deserve to know you have a big position. You've been inflicting so much pain and suffering on people throughout the United States of America. Is it your position that as part of your business operations, you would show up at Mediterranean restaurants, semi-fast food, and you would take $50,000 in cash, and that's what you do? I don't do business like that. You know, I don't pay my employees at MeidasTouch in brown paper bags with cash. I think it would be concerning if I did that. So why are we being gaslit about this concept? And if you do, explain why you did it. Otherwise, just leave the administration. Like you shouldn't be in a position of power. Like it is this lack of accountability structure, and it's so flagrant. And what do they want us to do? In all of the Trump chaos, they just want us to forget about it. But I'm doing this video with Harry Litman, who you heard laughing in the background. I bring Harry on, one, because he's one of the most knowledgeable people as a former top federal prosecutor, but he also laughs at my jokes and occasionally keeps his phone on during the interviews. But let's bring in Harry Litman from the Talking Feds podcast. So Harry,
yeah,
I mean, that to me, you know, the story broke last week. It's one of those things where I feel the story is fading from corporate news. Like, all right, it's Trump being Trump. What are we going to do? What are you going to do is be reporters. Keep reporting on it. Keep this in front of the people. This is outrageous.
And I think that's what's going to happen. The Dems are already going for it, and this tape is out there. And as you say, $50,000 in a bag. I got to say, you are more credulous than I am, Ben. I'm not saying beyond a reasonable doubt if I were on a jury, but come on. He's asked by Laura Ingraham, did you take the money? He said, I did nothing illegal and I'm gratified DOJ found it. That's like right up there with Clinton. I never broke the laws of my country. Of course there's a tape. Of course there's a tape. And the tape is coming out. That is just for starters. The question is then what happens? And let me tell you, as a former prosecutor, what's a pretty interesting detail here. I think it's pretty clear, and it's been reported, they let him take the money. And any sting I've ever been involved in, and remember, they come across him serendipitously. They're investigating someone else who sort of serves up Homan. He just shows up, and as you say, in his sort of, you know, tough guy, bagman way, and he takes the money, and they let him go. Anything I've ever been involved in, you stop the music, lights come on, you're under arrest, and all the money that, you know, you have to keep track of. But it's pretty clear, why did they let him take the money? Remember, we're in September of last year. This is not the corrupt DOJ of Trump. They want to see, is he gonna go through with it? Is he gonna, I assume, and go through with it. What does that mean? Actually try, as he's promised to do, to kind of do sweetheart deals for this, what he thinks are people who do border security and what are really FBI undercover cops. Now, for my money, and if I were calling the shots, and DOJ and U.S. attorneys are the technical bosses of the FBI, I think it's a really stupid move that they did it. But here's the most important thing to me. Our email Beauvais, Mr. Life Tenure on the Third Circuit, in early January, apparently expresses some kind of discontent with this case and the charges brewing against Homan. And it's closed up is the case. It's just buried in June. Just that much to just close up a case. The wheels of justice grind slowly. If the Department of Justice tries to do either of two things, first, the tape doesn't exist. It's amazing that Catherine Levitt has come forward and said that. Amazing that we live in a country where you just assume that the White House is lying. But the tape exists. Many people have heard it, and have vouched for it. What they may well try to do, though, and there have been hints about this, and here my nerdy bona fides come in handy. There have been a series of cases involving what feels like a bribe to you and me, where the Supreme Court has narrowed that definition. And here in this case, it's a true litigation risk. Would the Supreme Court eventually say he wasn't someone who had been selected to be an official? That's the word in the statute. Selected, therefore it wasn't a crime. That's the kind of thing they've done before. But you've got this big fish who has swum into your net. He's taken $50,000 in a bag. We're talking, he's taking the money. Money laundering issues, tax issues, potential conspiracy that extends after, potential honest services fraud. You do not give up on this guy without all kinds of additional investigation. And even if you're thinking about this arcane Supreme Court issue, you go to the Office of Legal Counsel, you get an opinion. Supreme Court's never held this. You're just worried that it might. In other words, it is a completely spurious claim that we nevertheless may see when this tape comes out to say something like, well, we were concerned about the Supreme Court. That's why we decided to bury it. If they tell you that, they're lying to you. It's just couldn't be within that time frame. Now, I think it's true. It's totally rank and raw and favoritism that the DOJ might not. Oh, and by the way, word to the wise: anyone tries to give you $50,000 in a bag, don't decline it thinking, oh, the Supreme Court will take care of me later. So there's not only all these other crimes, there's also state law crimes. Of course, that state in question, Texas, which, has its own problems with Ken Paxton. So I think at the end of the day, it's possible, the tape comes out and it is flagrant, and not just like tawdry, $50,000 in a bag, but that combined with all the points you rightly made, all his savagery and overextension and triumphant kind of militarism with the way he's handling the migrant community, I think those two things put together might spell the end of Tom Homan as border czar. So this is serious stuff for him. He has to understand it. But I just want to say, I've thought it through. I've written about it. If they try to sell a theory later that they were, just doing the regular legal analysis and we were worried about the Supreme Court, it's a lie.
Well, that's why I think with all of these things, right, whether we're talking about the Epstein files, now the Tom Homan tapes, whatever it is, it always comes back to transparency. Transparency is just, we should be able to have this information. We should not want someone like Tom Homan to be in this position if what's on this tape is egregious, because if he was willing to do it on this occasion, it would seem to be not the first time that someone goes about doing something. It could have been, but we deserve to see what it is, form our opinions about a public servant who was not confirmed by the Senate, but who got this kind of extra cabinet-ish appointment as borders are, and say, is this the person we want or is it we don't want? It's the same thing ultimately with the Epstein files, which is whichever rich, wealthy men are on this list, we the people can be able to decipher. Was this just someone who was a neighbor in West Palm Springs because a lot of rich people live in West Palm, in Palm Beach, and know each other? Or as you delve deeper, was it people actively involved in something deeper? We should be able to determine that. And that's why we should just have access to this information. That's all we're asking for. I'll give you the final word.
Okay, and I think we will. But let me just say, in terms of the decline and degradation of government, this happened before he was put into this slot. I've done, among my other things in government, some vetting of candidates. If someone under consideration, I don't care what the charge is, attorney general down to office clerk, you get from the FBI that the guy took $50,000 in a bag, I guarantee you the candidacy would be dead within 15 minutes. So it's not simply, should we consider then? They knew it at the time, 50,000 in a bag, and they put him in this important job. Man, oh man, that's already testimony before the government even begins under Trump 2.0. They don't give a shit about the people. They don't give a shit about probity. They don't give a shit about, the law. They just want them to go in and knock heads. It's stunning. I'm just trying to think of getting this report of this current candidate and not right away going to the deputy attorney general who right away makes the phone call, thanks, but no thanks to Homan. It's stunning.
If Homan's there, testify before Congress, did you take the cash? Yeah. Did you report it as income? Was it on your
tax? Right.
Yes or no? Oh, I'm not going to answer the question. Well, then just stop. Then just stop this freaking crap. Across the board with all of these people, they're doing things that I don't care what political party you're from. This is not normal. We should not be okay with it. And we're going to call out everybody. Subscribe to Harry Litman's Substack, his YouTube page, and his podcast. It's called the Talking Feds YouTube, Talking Feds Substack, Talking Feds podcast. Just search on any of those platforms, Talking Feds, hit subscribe, and you'll see Harry Makes Me Smart. It's where I learned after law school. It's all Harry Litman. Thanks, Harry.
Thank you, Ben. Talk to you soon.
All right, hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million. Thanks, everybody.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.